Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching from. Welcome back to my channel. So, a lot has been trending about the conservative leader of UK Parliament, Kemi Badenoch, that has Nigerian origin or Nigerian descent. She granted an interview to the podcaster Guy Brendet. So, there's a clip where she was describing her stay or her schooling days in Sagamu Federal Girls Secondary School, Sagamu. So the clip has been trending. People are giving different opinions of, some people are saying she's defaming Nigeria, she's painting Nigeria in bad light. So I want us to watch the clip, then I'll give you my take on that.
Girls' school in a place called Sagamu. And that was like being in prison. When I tell the stories about using a machete and having, because there are no lawnmowers, that's the place that I'm talking about, having to fetch buckets of water. And that was the first time that I was away from home, away from my family. And I wasn't just looking
This is a boarding school.
Yes, it's a federal boarding school. And it was
You
very...
shared a dormitory with
Yes,
other girls?
we're about 150, I think. 20 to 30 in a room, and there were 6 rooms.
And
so
the
bunk
machete
beds.
is for cutting the grass.
Yes, cutting the grass.
Explain why were you cutting the grass?
Well, because who else is going to cut the grass? It's just it's the
grass
students.
grows. You have
Yeah,
machetes to cut it.
exactly. They're not. This is a federal school where this is the old grammar school system sort of fading out, and everyone who passed an exam and got a certain score got to go to a federal school, and this was more socialism. So they sprinkled people around. They didn't want one school getting all the best results. They would mix people about, so you could end up getting sent thousands of miles away to a boarding school, at the extreme end of the country. So I was lucky. I didn't get sent too far away, but I was very far from home. I'd never been away from home before. And it was like Lord of the Flies. The students were in control. We needed to look after the school ground. So using a machete, having to clean toilets with no running water. I'm not going to go into the description of that, but it is very, very, very grotty. And so that was when I talk about the hardship, it's often being in that school, but I still always carry with me that understanding that you never know where you're going to end up.
Now, let's look at the positives or the negatives of what she's saying. We are so used to hardship in Nigeria that somebody saying this kind of things is sounding mundane to us. A 10-year-old, 9-year-old, 12-year-old, or 13-year-old cutting grass with cutlass is not ideal. Especially see the way the podcaster or the interviewer guys was looking at her saying, why are they having machetes? It is because this is our culture and it is bad that most of us that went to boarding school we are subjected to this kind of treatment of us cutting. There was no good latrine system for us cutting grass. That's something that people of that age shouldn't be doing. It's kind of hard labor. She's comparing it to prison system, and this is fair. Nigerians are always feeling offended about everything. Instead of trying to take the positives or looking for a way to reform our boarding schools in Nigeria, both the federal system or even private owned boarding schools, instead of picking offense and feeling threatened or triggered by what Kemi said, Kemi is recounting her experience. And this experience is similar to what most of us that passed through the boarding school system experienced. It is not foreign. She's not lying. Because most of us experience this kind of hardship whereby we are the ones cutting grass. I know some people made the argument is building character or washing our own place. Fair enough. I don't even see a problem. When I was in school, we wash our own place, we wash our clothes. But cutting grass, we used to cut large grass covered areas, all in the name of labor and building character. And we are as small as we were, like 10, 11, 12-year-old children, going to boarding school to learn, and we are subjugated to cutting grass. Even prisoners in the UK don't even are basically living better than us. So yes, you can criticize Kemi on many things she's saying about Nigeria, and this brings a larger conversation. She's talking about the hardship in the country. She's trying to let the world know that Nigeria, even there's no middle class in Nigeria again. It's either you're ultra rich or you're ultra poor. You're so rich or you're so poor. There's no middle class in Nigeria. So instead of us trying to pick offense, people are saying, why is she's going woke, and why is she saying these things about Nigeria? She has a Nigerian descent, she has a Nigerian origin. Yes, she's born in Nigeria, made in the UK. But let us look at the larger conversation. Let's forget how we feel about what she said. Personally, I think she's saying the truth, and we need to say more on this. Our children are being subjugated to be living like prisoners, all in the name of character building in boarding schools. So instead of picking offense, Let's try and find a way to revitalize our boarding schools, to make these places safer and conducive for our children to stay and learn. And that's all I'm going to say about that.